Jai Hind all. Now, in previous, I have covered NIST cloud computing reference architecture, and we have seen that how this architecture basically depend on the 5 different actors. Okay, and that actors, if I want to remind you, these actors were cloud consumer, cloud provider, cloud broker, cloud auditor, and the cloud carrier. These are the 5 actors who directly participate in this cloud reference environment. So, if we see this architecture, so in this architecture, basically the heart of this architecture है this architectural component. Okay, so this architectural component for managing and providing cloud services describe the important aspect of service deployment, orchestration of services, how to manage the services, and what are the security challenges and privacy of the services. This is the first part. Okay, and basically this architectural component is managed by cloud provider. Okay, so here we are focusing more on the cloud provider in this second part. Portability and interoperability issues for data and services are also crucial factor as the consumer need confidence and moving data and services across the cloud, because as a consumer, as a user, I must have a trust on that particular provider that whatever data and application we are providing, that will be safe, that will be secure, that will be private. So this is the major challenge and the issue that should be properly resolved by the provider. So security and privacy that build the trust, business support, implementation of specific business model, service. Let us see the service orchestration. So service, as you know, that these are the 3 kind of services: SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. The orchestration layer is responsible for the governance, control, and coordination of the service delivery process. There are 3 things: governance, control, and coordination. They are the 3 things that are ensured by this orchestration. Orchestration means governing the services, controlling the services, and establishing the coordination among the services. Composition of service component to support cloud provider activities, like in coordination with management of the resource in order to provide cloud services. Service layer. This is the interface for accessing the services. There are 3 kind of services. So this is the abstraction layer. Resource abstraction and control layer. This is the interface for accessing virtualized resources like hypervisor, virtual machine, and virtualized storage. Here in cloud computing, there the big concept of virtualization means everything that we are accessing are in virtual form. Okay, because physically that is a distant geographical area, and that is also known as the data center where that are managed. But at our venue, we can easily access hardware, software, or any kind of cloud computing services. Physical resource layer. This is the interface for accessing to the physical resource like computer, disk, routers, firewall, etc. Okay. So this is the resource abstractions, means virtualized layer, and there the and bottom there the physical resource layer. Okay. This is the actual hardware at the data center at the developer side. And this is the facilities, all the facilities which are delivered in form of virtualized environment. Cloud service delivery model. Okay. So these are the three kind of services which are provided by the provider to the consumer. Infrastructure as a service. Let us take a glance on this particular IaaS. Infrastructure as a service is the delivery of the computing resources, basically the hardware, like the server, networking technologies, storage, data center, computing power. All these come in the infrastructure as a service. That means hardware kind of services are come in this particular category, infrastructure as a service. It may also include the delivery of operating system and the virtualization technology to manage the resources. And the IaaS customer rent computing resources instead of buying and installing them in their own data center or in their own premises. So this is the beauty of this cloud computing environment, that all these services are not physically, installed at your venue, at the venue of the consumer. Okay, that is properly running on some other data center at the provider side, and that is only provided in the form of web service to you. And the service is typically paid for the usage basis. That means this is depend on the usage basis, just like rent. What amount of time you are using, you have to pay for only for that time. The service may include dynamic scaling, so that the customer needing more resources than they expected, he can get them immediately. Because this is also the next characteristics and beauty of this computing model or cloud computing model. That is the elasticity. That means whenever you require more resources, more power, computing power, you can grant that resources immediately without much formality. That means whenever you are using one virtual machine, suppose, and that is capable to deal all your activities, all your need, but suddenly you feel that is overloaded and you need more virtual machine. So at that same instant, you can get some other virtual machine, so that your work cannot hamper, cannot be disturbed. So next is the platform as a service. So let us see what is the platform. What does it mean, the platform? So a platform is anything you can leverage to accomplish something in a simpler, faster, or otherwise better way than you could without. Okay, so this is basically the platform. As we know that when we talk about the platform, that means something, the medium in which we can develop some new applications. Okay, some new product can be implemented, can be developed, can be hosted, can be deployed. So that environment is known as the platform. So as a programmer, you leverage pre-existing code rather than starting from the scratch and writing everything. Okay, as you are the programmer, so it is well obvious that if you are writing some code, some application, so you can reuse the code that is already written and established and developed. You need not to go from the beginning of that particular, from the scratch. No need. So the most well-known software platform for the desktop software are Windows and Mac OS. This is also known as the platform. Platform as a service. That means it delivers what you might call a solution stack, an integrated set of software that provide everything a developer need to build application. So as a developer, what are the different resources or the platform you need so that you can write the code, you can develop that particular software or application, you can host that applications, okay, you can deploy at the receiver end. So all these are the technology or the platform that are needed that come in the platform as a service. So the primary benefit of the PaaS is having the software development and deployment capability based on entirely on the cloud. Hence, no management or maintenance is required by the client side. And all the infrastructure, basically, these platforms are also using the infrastructure of the cloud provider, not the cloud consumer. Every aspect of the software development from the design stage onward, okay, that is like what are the different stages of the software development. If we recall, what are the first one, the feasibility study, then what is that requirement analysis. So first we have to see that that project, that application is feasible for us. That means within our budget, within our computing skills. So that is the feasibility study. Then if we say that, okay, it is feasible for me, then we will go for the requirement analysis, second phase, then design, then coding, then testing of that particular, then maintenance. So these coding, testing, maintenance, each are facilities come under the platform. Okay. That means this testing and deployment lives in the cloud. So from cloud we can use this one. Goal of PaaS. The ultimate goal of PaaS is to make it easier for you to run your website or web application, no matter how much traffic it gets. So you just deploy your application, okay, and the service figure out what to do with it. A platform as a service should handle scaling seamlessly for you, so you can just focus on your website, okay, and the code running it. SaaS. Third one is the SaaS. This is the service deployment model. IaaS, PaaS and SaaS. Software as a service is a software delivery model in which software and data are hosted centrally and accessed via the web. It can be rented. Like there are the number of applications now that come in the software as a service, like Google Meet we are using, email services we are using, okay. And there are the number of other services that is provided by the different vendor that come under the software as a service, common applications, general applications. Google Photos itself, Google Drive, Google Figure, this Google, photo. So configuration and customization according to the customer. Accelerated feature delivery, weekly update. Multi-tenant architecture is used. Single instance of the software for multiple client organization. This is known as the multi-tenant model. Okay. Same instance is used by the number of users. And each and every user feel that they are designed for them only. Then the open integration protocol. So this is the APIs and protocol for accessing companies' internal systems. Service management. This includes all the service related functions that are necessary for the management and operation of the services available to the consumers. And this can be described from different perspectives, like for the business support, the service management. That means to increase the business activity, to increase the sale, to increase the marketing, what are the different activities that can be performed, what are the different management practices that can be used, that can be done by the provider. That come under the, business perspective. Then the provisioning and configuration. Provisioning and configuration means providing or packaging the services or managing the services for the as per the consumer need. Provision like static provisioning, dynamic provisioning. Portability and interoperability. That means to port the services from one virtual machine to other virtual machine, from one data center to other data center. Cloud service management. So when we talk about the cloud service management, there are the business support, then provisioning and configuration, and this is the portability and interoperability. So these are the number of internal activities that are going on, like customer management, to maintaining the customer data, okay, their login, password, their profile, contract management, okay, to establish the contract between consumer and provider, inventory management, make the inventory of all the resources, accounting and billing, reporting and auditing, pricing and rating. All these are the process that ensure the business, and this is known as the business support. Provisioning means rapid provisioning, resource change. If you want to change some resource, that is come under the cloud service management. Monitoring and reporting, metering, SLA management. Okay. Similarly here, for the portability and interoperability, data portability, copy data to from, bulk data transfer, service interoperability, unified management interface, okay, system portability, virtual machine image migration, application or service migration. These are the different kind of activities that going on in the cloud service management. So we have seen this one, and management provisioning means rapid provisioning means automatically deploying cloud service based on the user demand. Resource changing means adjust service configurations or resource assignment for the repair or upgrades. Metering means provide metering capability for service type. SLA management to manage all the requirement of the SLA or all the parameter which are specified in the SLA. Management portability and interoperability. Portability means ability to move application and data across the cloud and cloud provider. Data portability means copy or move the object across the cloud. System of portability means move or migrate stopped VM or application to their content. Service interoperability means use data and service across multiple clouds provider using the common interface, by using the RESTful APIs. Privacy, ensuring the privacy of collected personal identifiable information. That means privacy, you know, that to keep the data, applications, personal data, user habit, okay, financial data, as well as the health data, all to keep all these kind of data private. The main responsibility of the cloud provider to keep this safe. Security means security of the SaaS. That means manage accessibility of cloud, offering using the network connections and through web browser. Infrastructure as a service, hypervisor security for VM isolation, pass user authorization to use services. So impact per deployment model, that means private cloud is dedicated to the one customer, public is not. So as per need of the consumer, if consumer want more secure platform, they are going to process more critical and secret data, then you can suggest them or you can offer them private cloud that is used by that particular client, that is not public, so that is more secure and much secure in comparison of other cloud. Scope of control, application layer. We are, as I have already told you, we are discussing here all the activities and functionality by the cloud provider, because that have the major role in the NIST cloud reference model. And user application and services used by SaaS consumer, installed and managed by the PaaS consumer and SaaS provider. Middleware layer, that is the VM layer, OS, and the third one is the OS layer, operating system layer. Scope of control. Scope of control means there are the three layers. At which layer, what type of control is there? How much control is with the consumer and how much control is with the provider. So SaaS consumer have only limited administration control of the application and services. If you are a SaaS user, so you have very limited scope of the control to the application and services. If you are PaaS user, so the provider manages infrastructure and provide tools for deployment of application. So the consumer have control over the application but limited and no access to the infrastructure. So here application can be controlled by the user. If you are the PaaS consumer, as SaaS consumer you have very limited or you can say no control. Okay. If you are IaaS user, so you have the control on the platform as well as application, but you have no control on the infrastructure because infrastructure is provided in terms of service as form of service by the provider. You have no control, no scope of management of that infrastructure. So this is also shown in this diagram. So service deployment can be provided in three types. Service can be deployed by the public cloud, private cloud, and community cloud as well as hybrid cloud. There are the four type of deployment as service deployment. Okay. So all this part we will cover, this service deployment and deployment part we will cover in the next lecture. That will be the cloud, computing model. That have the two model, service model as well as deployment model. So we will cover in the next lecture. So okay. Thank you.